And we start with a yawn.
Sorry.
Ooh,
What?
just loud. You dance and I bounce. Hey everybody, welcome to the Gene Pool Variety Hour. This is episode 41. I am one of your co-hosts, Sean. I'm the old guy, the dad, and that guy doing the robot very badly on the other screen would be my son.
My name is Connor, and you can only use so much of the robot from basically mid chest up.
Yeah,
You know?
and Hammer already says that you're high energy this evening, man, high octane, and I am trying to be low octane. So, whew.
No, Dad. For once, just for one stream, get up to my level.
Oh, I could never get to your level, ever. So
Yes,
anyway.
you could.
No, I can't. I got to get Chase up here. So anyway, so he's, there's not a good spot to put him now. So I got to move my computer so I can get him up here. So
I love this thing. This is like the most badass thing ever.
Is that better? That's better. He's sitting kind of high, but one of these days I'm going to get it all set up. When I get my actual podcast room set up, then
I try to get him up there, Hammer. I try to, but he always falls behind.
Yeah, I know. So, well, and it's been a busy last hour, and I'm frantically putting a sign up like literally 5 minutes before we go on. I'm trying to put out all the notifications, and so yeah, it's
Go Codzilla.
So this
Where's
is
that from?
This is a little bit. That's a song from a Blue Oyster Cult song. Go Godzilla.
We were talking about Blue Oyster Cult at work, actually.
So anyway, not really a nerd thing, but it kind of goes with the movie we're talking about tonight. So whatever.
Although for legal reasons, it's not Godzilla.
No, it's just a big.
It reminds me of that scene in Austin Powers.
Which one?
The Godzilla scene and I think it's the second one. In The Spy Who Shagged Me.
I don't remember much about that one. I mean, I've seen it, but I don't remember as much about that one as I did the other one. So anyway,
I will fear the nuclear lizard, Hammer. It is literally a 100-story tall freaking nuclear lizard that can fire laser beams.
Well, see, what you're not getting, Connor, is since you're young, you don't know Blue Oyster Cult. You also don't know that there's the song "Don't Fear the Reaper." He's kind of going with the whole Go Godzilla and Don't Fear the Reaper, mixing them together. Okay. So that's what it's old for. I completely got it, but you're young. So.
I do know the song "Don't Fear the Reaper." I couldn't make the connection.
Yeah. So anyway, and
don't fear the Reaper.
You need the music to go
with
along
my
with it.
Beautiful voice.
Oh, and I had to. Oh, and the other thing is, I have very few letters. And so apparently they didn't want to give me 3 G's. I only had 2 G's, so I had to quickly make a G out of a C. So that was the other thing I was frantically doing right at the end.
So basically you.
I said it really says Go Codzilla, but that's a completely other thing, Codzilla. But so I made it into a
Codzilla isn't a thing.
Well, it's.
if the D was a K, maybe.
Well, I'm thinking like the whole cod piece thing. Come on, Okay. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so probably going to be a little short on some of our guests. One of my buddies that usually comes in and hangs out with us, Mr. Bones, got his second round of the COVID vaccination today, and or yesterday, I can't remember, and it has hit him hard. He's dealing with some really yucky side effects and just kind of feeling really under the weather. So he's not going to be joining us tonight, unfortunately.
He's not becoming the zombie, right?
No, he's got kind of that yucky, little bit of a fever and everything. So if you happen to be listening to this, Bones, if you're watching this on YouTube, man, I hope by then, hopefully you're feeling better by then. I'll shoot you a signal message later and see how you're doing. But anyway, so this is us. This is episode 41. I actually decided to wear my shirt today. So, I've got to do. Yes, I'm going to prove. I got the Streamlabs auto mods things if it catches certain words or whatever. So for some reason it picked up a word on Hammer's latest thing, and dude, it doesn't matter to me. It makes me have to stop and look at it. No, everything's fine. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where I was. That's kind of frantically flew in to do this. So I'm just glad that everything's actually working. We see each other and we can hear each other. So anyway, we always start with what's been going on. So what's been going on with you, other than you obviously are having some neuromuscular issues in your eyebrows. So what's been going on? What's the weather like up there, man, in the Great White North?
Well, first off, it's not the Great White North. That's Canada.
Yeah, well, work with me, dude. It's close. It's closer to the Great White North than Georgia.
This is true.
Okay,
this is true.
Anyway,
so today at work they finished production on the main assembly line early, so they kind of shut down the conveyor belt, and then me, Brandon, and Jeff were just plugging away, cleaning up some stuff, getting it ready for Monday. And because it was so quiet in our workstation, we just started talking, and it turns out, Jeff has had a pretty interesting life. I mean, the guy got a tour of the MASH set.
That's cool. That's out in California,
Yeah. He also told me he got to see Led Zeppelin, Blue Oyster Cult in concert and everything.
Wow, how fortuitous.
Exactly.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Let's see. And also,
me too, Hammer.
His wife's mother's neighbor played a sort of semi critical
his mother-in-law's neighbor.
Cheers.
Yes. She played a role in Cheers?
Yeah. She played Carla's mom.
Oh, really? I don't remember Carla's mom.
Yeah. I only remember one episode Carla's mom was very evident in, and that was when she was sick and was trying to get Carla to name her son Mussolini.
Mussolini, there's a good one.
Yes,
there you go. Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Benito Mussolini.
Right. So okay.
And then talking about all this band and concert stuff. It got me remembering our first concert we went to together.
Which was
the Skillet one, huh?
Which was
the Skillet and Toby Mac concert.
Yeah, we got to go. I took Connor and his younger brother, one of his younger brothers, the next youngest one down, who's 22
Luke.
now. My gosh, how long? Well, it was during Skillet's Awake tour, whatever year that was.
I was still in middle school. I know that.
Yeah,
much.
So you were in middle school, which meant Luke was either in middle school or still at the upper end of elementary school. But I think he was in. Well, anyway, so y'all are around that age, and it was a free concert at Auburn. It was part of some.
It was free.
Yeah, it was some Christian thing that they were, where they were having speakers and stuff, and so Toby Mac and Skillet were the bands for it, and it was a free concert. So it's first come just first come first serve, open seating. Now, they had armbands that you could get. Oh, this is a good chicken, by the way. They had armbands that you could get, and if you got those, you got to be on the floor, the mosh pit,
In the
right?
mosh pit, yeah.
Otherwise, you just sat anywhere you could find seats. Well, we didn't get. Luke went up and he crawled under the crowd and got one of those armbands, but he only got one for himself. You and I didn't get one, so I said, no, you got to give that to somebody because you can't go down there by yourself. So he did, and so we went and we got seats right on the edge of the floor. So we got as close to the floor as we could. No, hold on. Let me finish. You're not let me finish. Uh-huh. So we got seats as close as we could to the floor, and we were sitting there, and then all the seats were filling up. And after all the seats filled up, then we had an usher come up and say, "Oh, you guys can't sit here. This is this is handicap section." I'm like, "Well, okay, well it's not marked handicap." "Well, I know. Sorry about that, but we need this for elderly and people that can't climb the stairs or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, fine." Well, by then, the only seats left were up in the nosebleed seats.
Section,
so we were really disappointed, and as we were talking about how disappointed we were, there was a lady standing there, and she says, "Hey, do you guys want to be in the mosh pit?" And she had a handful of armbands that weren't being used. So your dad and you and Luke was in the mosh pit for a Skillet Toby Mac concert. Luke was so close to the stage, he was high-fiving Toby Mac in the concert. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting.
It was awesome.
I was definitely the oldest guy in the mosh pit, by far, by far. So,
and didn't one of the singers for in Toby Mac's group come to our church at the time? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was it was the African American girl. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Very good. She was one of the backup singers, and she came. And sang with Kevin and them for like one of our youth services, right? Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, me Luke got her picture with her and everything.
I completely forgot about that, but you're absolutely right. So, so anyway, you did all that.
Yeah.
So how are the plans for the Nerf war going? You make any plans?
We are officially waiting until May or April.
Well, I knew that, but you said in the last episode that would give you time to plan. So I was just wondering if you'd started planning yet.
I haven't been planning.
You haven't planned anything, huh? Oh, okay, all right.
Because it's still like 4 to 5 months away.
Yeah. And this is coming from the guy who watches our movie for the podcast the day of the podcast. Just nothing like waiting to the last second.
And this is also coming from the guy who has created amazing improv campaigns right off the bat. So much so that the people have said it was literally the best campaign they were part of.
Improv has nothing to do with preparation.
So
it's two different things.
So I can improv the rules of the league.
It's not
just keeping it fresh in my mind. Exactly, Hammer. You get it.
So yeah, and anyway, I mean, I could watch it literally and watch the final credits as we start the podcast, and I still wouldn't remember half of the movies anyway. So, okay, so I got nothing really major going on here. Just the work stuff. I get my second COVID shot next week, and after hearing about Mr. Bones's reaction to his second one and the things that I've heard about people getting their second one, I'm kind of not looking forward to it now. So
just focus on getting powers, Dad. Just keep your mind on that and you'll get powers.
I still haven't decided which one I want, though. No, I don't want the one I turn invisible whenever I fart. I don't want that one. That was your idea. I don't want that one. I mean to be funny, but I don't want that one.
I say go with Mystique's power.
Now that would be cool. Shape shifting. I'm sorry, guys. That drink went down the wrong pipe. So.
Oh, lad, went down the wrong pipe.
Anyway, it may have something to do with the fact that it's a little bit more.
Salud.
It's a little bit more intense than it usually is tonight. So,
why are you trying to get drunk?
I'm not.
Come on.
When have I ever tried to? Ever? When have you known me to try to get drunk? When have you known me to get drunk?
When I graduated high school.
Nope.
I
I don't even think I
know.
didn't have a drink. You're just trying to make stuff up and get me in trouble. Stop it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, dude, I don't really have a lot going on. So, oh, well, I'm having a little bit of Gentleman Jack with a little bit of Coke. Actually, I would
Hard
say a little bit
cider
of
for me.
a little bit of Coke, a little bit more Gentleman Jack tonight. So that's what's on
Nice
tap for
hearty
me.
mead.
That's what's on tap for me on Friday nights usually. But yeah, nothing major's going on here. My car's getting fixed. They fixed it a week early, so I finally got all that damage from when I got sideswiped done. They called me today.
Wait, what?
Oh, dude! Back in October, I told you about this when we were driving back from a UAB game, and I got sideswiped on the interstate at 70 miles an hour, and it caused damage on the driver's side of my car. So, and of
I
course,
do not remember that. I'm sorry.
yeah. So insurance companies were not mine, theirs, completely denying any responsibility, even though the police report clearly says that it was his fault because I had a state trooper, a sheriff's deputy, and a local police officer on the scene almost immediately because they had already been getting calls on this guy because he was swerving all over the road.
Yeah.
But apparently he was insured by one company and he was using somebody else's car that's insured by another company, and the guy whose car it was apparently told the insurance companies he didn't give the guy permission to drive his car, which is probably a lie. But so now both of those insurance companies are denying any responsibility because one is saying, well, my insured wasn't driving his car at the time and didn't give the permission to this guy to drive it. And the other one is saying, the other insurance company is saying, well, that's not our car. So I'm having to go with my uninsured motorist and finally get it fixed. But then they've got a legal department and they'll chase this guy down and get money out of him. I don't have to. So it was supposed to be done next Friday. They called me today and says, hey, it's done today if you can get here by 5. I was in Columbus, an hour drive away, and it was 4:30. So I said, I'll see you Monday. So at least I get my car back. Finally.
Speaking of which, I need to get some work done on my car too.
Yeah. What's wrong with it now?
It's the light is saying I need to check the emissions.
Okay. Yeah. It could be air filter, could be well, I'm not a car guy, but you should probably take it in and get it checked.
Yeah.
You know, up there, I mean down here, especially out in the rural areas, we don't have to get emissions checked. But up there, you probably have to go get your emissions checked. There's probably places to go because I know when we lived in Chicago, we had to do that. So there may be a place where you can go where you can pull it in and they'll check your emissions for free and tell you what's up.
Huh.
So
okay,
you should probably do that. Talk to Nikki since she's lived there. You know, her parents probably know. So
yeah.
What do I say every episode? Welcome
What?
to adulting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go.
So. Okay. You know, I am. Something's going on. Is she talking to her friends in the other room?
She they're having their first D&D session.
Oh wow, cool, man.
Yeah.
My D&D session has died. I don't know what happened. I haven't heard from him since before Christmas. So I think we just all got busy and plus, I mean, one of our guys
D died.
Huh? No, it just
D.
Dad and D, yeah. I think it's just because we're busy with things, you know. So, and one of our guys, he lives in it's Greg McElroy's is his brother-in-law, and he lives down in Florida. So there's probably some shut down COVID stuff, and they're not able to get up here and play. And I don't know why we don't just do it like this, but anyway. So we haven't played in a while. But you know, I did finish up some stuff with Destiny last night. Because I got a new clan now that I run with. And I still play with my buddies on Friday nights, but now I switched clans because one of the clans that I was in that I just randomly picked decided they wanted to go really, really political, social justice warrior type stuff, and you have every right to do that, but that's not my style. So I started finding, and I found a Christian Destiny clan. And they're a blast, man. They're really fun. So I played with them last night, and we finished something that I couldn't do by myself. So that was kind of cool. Probably going to do I think we're playing some Titanfall 2 Horde mode tonight after we're done. So that'll be interesting.
I ain't doing that.
Why not? Have you ever played Titanfall? It's a blast. You should download it and play with us.
It wouldn't be done by the time you guys get on.
Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, so
not with the bandwidth I have here. Trust
so
me.
you've been playing Valhalla, I know. But then I saw you playing some Skyrim the other day, I thought too. Were you playing some Skyrim the other day? Oh, it looked like it said you were playing Skyrim. So that was weird.
What?
Yeah, it said you were playing Skyrim. So I guess the ghosts in the machine are playing when you're not home.
Or maybe Nikki is.
Oh, maybe. I didn't know she was playing on your Xbox. I thought she was a PlayStation girl.
She's more of a PS sorry, a PC girl
oh,
as
that's
of this
right.
moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, that's all I got going on. I got nothing fancy or exciting happening.
Know what
yeah, please talk because I don't feel like talking. I don't like talking all the time.
Me and Nikki are really excited for this Sunday.
Cool. What's going on this Sunday? I'm putting on my hoodie. It's cold in here.
It's cold up there. It's cold down there.
It's cold in my garage, yes, because there's no heat in this garage, because it's a garage.
But you have insulation.
Yeah, so it keeps the cold in really well.
So, anyway, this Sunday, me and Nikki are going on this big destination date, to Akron.
I thought that was last weekend.
Last weekend she was working.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was last weekend.
I told you about it last weekend. That they were planning for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess since you told me last Friday, I was just assuming it was that weekend. My bad.
No.
So
no,
all right,
last
cool.
weekend she was
so
working.
The museums and the zoos and the shops and stuff, right?
Yeah. There's this awesome metaphysical shop she wants to check out. It's called The Gypsy and the Goat.
Okay. I don't have a comment on that, so whatever.
Being with Nikki and going to these shops, it's really cool actually, because because one, I'm meeting a lot of unique people, and two, I'm learning about this whole other culture I never really knew was even still really around, just because of where I grew up,
Right.
A good good wrong word, a deeply traditional Southern Baptist kind of area,
Yeah.
So I just think it's cool to be exposed and be around other cultures,
Okay. All right. So
don't worry, I'm not converting.
Okay. I'm looking for. Okay. So do we want to just jump into our geek question and just kind of have fun with it?
Sure.
Because the
I
question
got a lot of answers.
I know, and Smashy was going to try to come in, but I think because she wanted to answer too, but I think she's probably dealing with Tater Tot. She's probably dealing with her little kid.
Tater Tot, I love that.
So anyway,
I can't wait to have kids.
So you ready to do the geek question then?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Okay. Okay, well, see, part of the problem is you probably get that on a little bit of a delay to you as well. So not only are you not saying the whole thing, you're also saying not the whole thing in a delayed fashion. It's really hard to follow. So let's just let Arnie let's just let Arnie talk. All right. So what's the question? Do you remember the question? You may ask the question.
I've got it.
All right, go for it.
If you could only pick one movie scene that you could live out anytime you want, what would it be and why?
All right, cool. So,
I have several answers.
Steven's answer last night was from, I think it was The Last Crusade, Indy in The Last Crusade, where he was on the tank scene where he's fighting the guys on the tanks and stuff. He said that was the scene that he would want to live over and over. That's the one that he would like to relive.
You see, you see, in my mind, when I read live, I mean like actually take the place of the main character or
that's what he's talking about.
That scene.
Yes, he was talking about.
He wants to fight Nazis on top of a tank.
Apparently, because he kicked butt and he still looked good doing it. And Smashy said, yeah, he got punched in the face. They're like, so he turned out okay. He won the whole day. So that's just what he wanted. So there
Hey,
you
he
go.
rhymed.
Okay, whatever. So I didn't mean to, but there you go. All right. So okay. So since you have, how many do you have? Because I've got 5 that I couldn't whittle down from. So
I've got a bunch too.
So what? Let's just you do one, then I'll do one. We'll kind of go that way.
All right.
All right. And Hammer, if you got to answer that question, chime in too. We'll throw you into the mix too, man.
Let's see. The first one is kind of a serious fun. It's kind of like a serious one in a way.
Yeah.
I would want to be on that bus bench with Forrest Gump, listening to him tell his story, because when you think about it, him sitting there and telling his life story is one moment, one scene. You know,
it really is when you think of it. Because I was sitting there going, it's not really one scene, but when you think of it, it is. They just cut away to flashback to the stories. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a really good one. That's a really good one.
Thank you.
I didn't even think about that one. Okay, go ahead. I don't mean to stop you.
I thought
I was just commenting
we were alternating.
We are. I mean, was that all you had to say on that one? Was that was it?
I mean, what else could you say?
Right.
I'll be sitting here listening to this guy who lived basically 10 lifetimes worth of adventures,
right?
And was just a nice guy. You know?
Yeah. That's a really good one. Gump crossed my mind, but I didn't think of that scene that way, as it really being one scene because of all the cutaways. So you're right. So that would have been on my list had I thought of it that way. The first one on my list is the Battle of Helm's Deep from the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. That would definitely be on there, and I would, Legolas, Gimli, either one of them does not matter to me who it would be, who I would play, but just being in that scene,
what's happening out there,
and being in that huge battle, and just because I'm thinking of the psychological parts of these scenes too, or at least some of them, and just the fact that the situation was so hopeless, and they were so driven, and say, okay, we're fighting to the end. And we're fighting to the end. I didn't say the Return of the King. That's the third. Now I'm talking about Two Towers. And I hope you're feeling okay. I hope that stuff is. I hope you're seeing straight. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so just the fact that it was so dark, and I don't mean cinematically it was dark. It was just a dark time. It was this battle, and they were against the forces of darkness. And it's like, how in the world are we going to do this? And just when you think that they're about to just lose it and lose everything because they broke through the wall, Gandalf comes across with the Rohirrim over the mountain at light on the third day. So that was kind of cool. We will do that. We'll put that on your tombstone, man, just in case.
Hashtag Team Connor.
But
he was my first supporter. I will remember him fondly.
Because another thing I liked about that was that it was such a battle, but at the same time, the two of them had developed such a friendship that it was comical. They were joking back and forth through the whole thing, So that's just a cool scene that I really like. But anyway, yours wins out so far because I really like yours. So, all right, what's your next one?
Let's see. My next one is one from an anime movie, Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay, I've seen that with you a long time ago, but I don't remember anything about it. So,
the scene from Howl's Moving Castle, I would want to see and be a part of over and over and over again, is honestly one of the very first ones when Sophie is first in the castle, and she's making breakfast using calcifer and everything, and it's a little old lady, but she's basically taking control of a 1,000-year-old fire demon who controls a freaking giant moving castle, and he's just, I mean, there's something about Sophie that I like, you know. She kind of reminds me of Nikki, sweet but strong at the same time.
Right.
And so that scene of when she's making breakfast, and then Howell comes in with his apprentice, and they all kind of clear off the table and they just eat breakfast together.
Right.
I think it's very nice and wholesome.
Okay. Yeah, I'd see. I mean, because I'm not an anime guy, I can't even really comment on that movie because I remember watching it with you, but I don't remember a thing about it. So.
Fun fact.
Uh-oh.
Um, in the dubbed version of Howl's Moving Castle, Calcifer is voiced by the same man who does Mike Wazowski in Monsters Inc.
Wait, now say that again.
In the dubbed version of Howl's Moving Castle, Calcifer is voiced by the same guy who voices Mike Wazowski in Monsters Inc.
Also known as Billy Crystal.
I didn't remember his name, but yes, Billy Crystal.
Wow, that's impressive. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So that's cool. You just don't think about major, stars from Hollywood doing voiceovers for a Japanese anime film, but that's interesting.
I mean, Studio Ghibli has made amazing $1 million blockbusters that are still very popular nowadays. Even one of their first ones, My Neighbor Totoro, is still majorly popular.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, I was kind of looking at mine, and I said, okay, so I've got them. They're kind of accessing different emotions or different things. Like the first one, it was, the action and, hope beyond hope and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then I've got one that's like, oh, snap, that's cool. That's a twist that I didn't necessarily see coming. And then one that's just a really emotional one. And then one that's just hilarious. And then just another cool fight action scene. Anyway, so this one is from The Usual Suspects. Have you seen The Usual Suspects?
I don't think so.
Oh, you need to watch The Usual Suspects. And so, man, I hate that because I'm about to ruin the twist at the end for you because I'm about to say it, and it's gonna.
Okay. I'm gonna take these off. Everything else is muted.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Give me this when you're ready. Okay.
Okay. Because you should definitely see the movie because it is an awesome movie. Anyway. Okay. Go.
And off.
Okay. So, the reveal of Kaiser Soze when the policeman, when the investigator is sitting there after Verbal Kent has left, and I'm Verbal Kent, and the cop is looking at the board and he sees all the signs and he sees the mug and Kobayashi and he realizes that Verbal just made up that entire freaking story on the fly by just looking at the stuff on the board and completely threw him off and completely snowed him. And as he figures it out, they're flashing back outside to Verbal, and he's walking that limp, and slowly that limp disappears, and then he pops out his cigarettes and he lights his cigarette, and then the guy that you thought was Kobayashi picks him up in the car and he drives off. It's like the greatest trick the devil ever played to convince you that he doesn't exist. Man, I love that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes. Okay, I've said what I got to say. So, So it's an awesome movie. You've got to see it. It's one of my favorite movies, and even though I know the twist, I've probably seen that movie 20 times just because I love the movie so much. And here's another fun fact. Okay, in the movie. Okay, and this is not ruining anything. At one point, these 5 criminals are in a police lineup, okay? And they're the guys that become the usual suspects. They're the main characters throughout the whole movie, okay? So they're in this police lineup, and they're having them repeat a line that somebody is accusing them of having said. Hey, are you?
I am listening.
Okay, I'm going to wait till you're done singing Backstreet Boys or whatever the heck that is.
How could you hear that? I was barely singing it.
Because you're singing it into your mic.
You
doofus.
are my fire.
Anyway,
The
so
one
there's
desire.
okay, that's enough. So
Okay,
there's this
I'm
scene
done
where they're doing
now.
the police lineup and they're having to read. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a
Y'all go.
heartache. Okay, go ahead. I'm done.
So in that scene, they're each having to read a line that somebody accused them of saying in a holdup. Okay, and they get to one of them, and he's saying this line, and he's got this really, really weird accent in the movie, just something he made up for the movie. And they all start laughing. Okay, all 5 of them just start laughing and slapping each other and just laughing uncontrollably. And you think in the movie, you think it's because it's Benicio del Torres or Benicio. I think is anyway. That's the actor, and so he's the one that's reading the line, and because he's got that funny accent, you think that they're all laughing because he just has that funny accent. No, in reality, when they're filming that scene, he's cutting some ripping farts during the scene, and they can't stop laughing, and they just dubbed the farts out and kept the laughing in. So that's why they're laughing in that scene, is because he's ripping farts as he's reading this line. So there's a fun fact for you. There's a fun fact for you.
Always fun.
Okay, so there's mine. So now what's
right.
another one of yours?
My next one is a musical one.
All right.
In Feather on the Roof when Tevye is singing, "If I Were a Rich Man."
Oh yeah, great scene.
I love that. It's by far my favorite. If I were a
rich man.
musical.
Okay, we're a weird family. My children love the movie version of Fiddler on the Roof, a musical about Russian Jews. My wife has always loved it, and we watched it, and my kids fell in love with it, and they still watch it all the time. So, we're kind of a weird family. But anyway, so yeah, that's a good scene because he does all the dancing along with it, the traditional kind of dancing that goes along with it. So yeah, that's a cool scene.
I mean,
obviously you want to be Tevye, right?
Exactly, because I am Tevye. His body type, his deep baritone. I mean, it's just Tevye is a good man. Yeah. That's what I've always respected about him.
Right.
He respects a tradition. Tradition. I mean, he respects it, but at the same time, he loves his daughters so much that he breaks it to make them happy.
Yeah. And it kills him the whole time he's having to break tradition because, historically speaking, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, the Jewish people, the Hebrews, their whole culture and faith and religion and everything is built on tradition, right? So,
dude, I love Sweeney Todd too.
Connor loves Sweeney Todd.
I love it to death. Alan Rickman and Johnny Depp in the movie version were amazing. I mean, I love it.
So, all right. Anything more about Fiddler on the Roof?
It's just that one song. Also, yeah. It's a man working, but he's singing about his dream to be rich and give his family an easy life, so they don't have to suffer.
Yeah,
that's what I always liked about it, because at his core, he just wants to make his family have a better life. Yeah. That's what I've always respected about him, and he goes to such lengths to help them have a better and happier life.
Yeah. So mine,
okay. That one song and that dance scene, I get into it every time I see it.
Yeah. So so my next one, and okay, Repo. All right. Of course, it is it would be a horror musical. So, because it is Mitch, so it's got to have some horror in there somewhere.
So Sweeney Todd is also considered a horror musical, but I see it more as like a thriller than a horror.
Yeah. So
that's just me.
So my next one is, and I'm kind of cheating a little bit because I'm kind of extending a scene here, split up a little bit.
How so?
The Shawshank Redemption.
I've never actually seen that movie.
Oh god, another one you must see. It's like in one of the top 100 films of all time. Okay, Shawshank Redemption, and it's when Andy Dufresne escapes from Shawshank. It's that scene. Because, all right, so let me tell you how he escapes.
Is that Morgan Freeman's character?
No, Morgan Freeman is Red. No, Andy Dufresne is Tim Robbins. Okay,
Who?
And Tim Robbins. Anyway, look him up. So he's been in prison for a couple of decades for a crime that he didn't commit. He was accused and convicted of killing his wife, and he didn't kill his wife. And he planned an escape 10 years where he slowly dug a hole in his cell room and had a poster of I think Raquel Welch in her little bikini thing or whatever, and hid the rocks. And so he dug a hole through his wall, and when he decided to leave, there's a whole plan to it. And it's shut, and I'm not going to tell the whole plan of how he did it. But part of it is there's a lightning storm, and as the thunder crashes, he's hitting on a pipe. It's a pipe that's probably big enough for someone to barely crawl through, and it's a sewage pipe. He cracks that open, and he crawls through 200 yards of raw sewage from a prison to get out.
Oh God!
And it shows him in there throwing up multiple times as he's getting out. Okay. But when he gets out, when he crawls out into the water, into the creek or whatever, on the other side, and he's out, and he's free, and the thunder and the lightning are flashing, and it's raining, and he just looks up, and the water's just running down on his face, and he just, the look on his face of finally I'm free is just so cool. And then he and Red had always talked about this little town in Mexico on the coast that they would go to if they ever got out.
Yeah.
So Red eventually gets paroled. He eventually gets out. And he makes the trek all the way down to that city. And he walks out on the beach, and he finds Andy out on the beach, fixing up an old boat. So they're these two guys that have been friends for decades in prison, and they finally find each other again and get to continue their friendship in freedom. Super cool. I mean, it's one of the best movies ever. I love that movie, but I love that scene where he finally gets free. So that's another one of mine. So if I could be him, I'd have to do the puking, but that feeling of finally being free, yeah, that would be it. So,
hey
Smashy. So all right. So what's up? What's another one? Yeah, Smashy. By the way, we couldn't hold it down to just one, so we have multiples. So we're just going back and forth talking about our multiples. If you ever came up with yours, feel free to chime in and let us know. So what's your next one, Connor?
Should we catch Smashy up a little bit?
So far I've talked about Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, the Battle of Helm's Deep, and I'd either be, Gimli or Legolas. I also did The Usual Suspects as Verbal Kent when the cop figures out that Verbal is actually Kaiser Soze. Sorry. Dadgummit. It's still worth it. Dang, I ruined it for you.
Dad.
And then I know you don't care.
You do this. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. And then Shawshank Redemption when Andy Dufresne escapes. All right. So those are my three so far. I've got two more. So what were yours?
And then mine so far have been taking part in sitting with Forrest Gump on the bus bench, listening to him tell his whole life story, because when you think about it, the sitting there is all just one scene. It's just the film has a lot of cutbacks.
Yeah. All right, so there's one.
And then the other one was from Howl's Moving Castle,
right.
the Studio Ghibli movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's when Sophie is making breakfast with the help of Calcifer and Howl, and it's a very wholesome scene that I want to be a part of.
Right.
And then the third one for me so far was a musical one in taking part in Tevye's If I Were a Rich Man song from Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. So all right. So
so now it's my turn.
It's your turn again. So I've got two more. How many have you got?
I've got
two
about
more.
3.
Okay. All right. Well, you go. We'll just finish it up. Go.
The next one is also kind of a serious and kind of sad one at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the scene in Dances with Wolves at the very end.
Oh God!
When
my heart's killing me because I know exactly where you're going.
When he and Stands with the Fist are leaving, and then his friend, I'm blanking on his name. What's his name? Hey, that Indian, he's up on the hill calling out down to him.
Wind in his hair. Wind in his hair.
Wind in his hair.
Yeah.
Do you see me Dances with Wolves? Can you not see I am your friend?
Oh God, kills me every time I see it. I've seen that movie so many times, and I cry every stinking time. Every stinking time.
Me too, because they literally started out as enemies, but they bonded and they grew as honest to goodness friends. And it's just oh man.
Yeah. I like Divided by the way, Bones, I like Divided by Werewolves better because that describes you and Brandon pretty well anyway, I think, right? So
oh man.
But Dances with Werewolves would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have. But oh man, that scene.
All right, Smash. You say any Bond moment. Pick one. See if you can pick one.
Yeah,
so
just
okay.
one.
All right, so that's yours. That's your scene. So who are you? Which character are you in that scene?
I'm most likely Dances with Wolves, who's witnessing this.
Okay, gotcha.
Witnessing my friend calling down to me.
Okay. My next one. It's one of my family's favorite movies. We laugh every time we see it. And it's
Can I guess?
Sure.
Is it Emperor's New Groove?
No. It's not a kids movie, but it's one that we watch a lot and we laugh all the time.
Huh? Flubber.
Not a kids movie. Not a Disney movie. It's got Robin Williams in it though.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
No, man. The Birdcage.
Oh, the Birdcage.
The Birdcage. Okay. And
I love that movie. Oh my gosh.
And it's the dinner scene when they're all having dinner together.
And they're trying to cover up the bowls.
And they're trying
with the Greek boys.
The whole scene. You've got the dad trying to act like this Greek attaché, really masculine kind of guy. You've got his partner, Nathan Lane, pretending to be mom in drag. You've got Atticus.
He does a good job, though.
You got Atticus Spartacus trying to be a butler and a chef, and he has no idea what he's doing in the kitchen. He's usually wearing a thong. She works hard for money. Why
are you gonna be such a beast to everybody?
So and it's like, what do you mean peasant soup? It's what how does he say it? It's peasant soup.
It's sweet and sour peasant soup.
So what about the shrimp? F the shrimp. Yes, that scene is. I mean, the whole movie is just rip roaring hilarious. I mean, even to this day, if your mom and I are somewhere, I mean, we were at our small group Sunday night, and somebody had brought some homemade like banana bread or something, and I went back in to get some.
Yes, I love Austin Powers.
I went back in and got another piece, and I went, when the schnecken beckons, and Kelly died laughing, and nobody else had any clue what I was talking about. So, so yeah, just about
I love that movie.
Just about any scene from that movie would be okay, but that one, because it's the longest one and it just goes on, that one, of course I'd probably play, I guess, Robin Williams' character. I don't know.
I could probably do a convincing Nathan Lane, I think.
Yeah. Although Atticus or Spartacus or whatever he wants to call himself, I mean, he's still my favorite. When you gonna put me near your show? when you have talent. So anyway, oh god, we yeah, Birdcage is one of those that if we see it, we're gonna stop and watch it.
My father was a shaman of his tribe, and his wife the high priestess. Then why'd they move to Jersey? I don't know. They're so stupid.
It's like you can't stand my Guatemalan heat. So yeah, all right. So they want to see you do your Nathan Lane. Oh! Go.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're on the spot. Now you're on the spot.
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
I completely agree, Bone. I completely agree. True Lies needs a Blu-ray release.
Oh man. Okay.
But they were all bad.
I'm trying to hammer. I'm trying to think of a good line from him. Dang it! Oh man! And it does it have to be from Birdcage?
It's like too swishy. No, actually, it was perfect. I just never knew John Wayne walked that way. When he's teaching him how to walk and he's walking with the toes, it's like you don't dab, you smear. You smear.
We have
completely gone down a Birdcage hole here. We just can't get out.
Birdcage. It's chicken cage. But chase and drag.
So, any Nathan Lane. Do any Nathan Lane that you can think of.
I can't do his voice. It's too high pitched.
Do Timon. Do some Timon, because that's Nathan Lane.
When the world turns their back on you, you turn your back on the world. Yeah. It's his voice is too high.
You got to work on your Nathan Lane a little bit. So anyway.
I've never done Nathan Lane before. You know,
Chickless Cage. So all right. So what's your you choking on peanuts? Choking on your nuts again?
No, I'm not.
So what's your next movie?
My next movie is a straight up comedy, and it's Aladdin, also a Robin Williams thing. I would love to be Aladdin in the scene of a freaking genie singing "Friend Like Me."
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That is my song because in that situation I am genie. I try to do whatever I can for my friends, and I always do.
Right.
You know.
Yep. Always have.
That's
always
just
have.
me.
Yep. So, okay, I've only got one more. Hold on. I want to see if Smashy. All right, rooftop chain. Oh, there you go. All right, so Smashy, I missed your comment. All right, so the rooftop chase scene with the horse. So, which character are you in that scene? Are you Arnie's character? Are you the terrorist character? Or are you the horse that refuses to jump? Which one is it? So anyway, all right. So while she's answering, my last one that I have is the bride, playing the character of the bride from Kill Bill Volume 1 in the Crazy 88's bar fight scene. Yep,
you would be the bride.
Yeah, that's just what she was called. That's what they were kind of referred to, because she was the bride. They tried to kill her at the very beginning of it, and then the Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 is all her getting revenge on all of them. But then she goes to take down Orishi. I think it's Orishi. I can't remember which snake she was. But she ends up having to fight the Crazy 88s, which is her henchmen, and they're called the Crazy 88s because they're crazy, and there's 88 of them. And she takes them all down one by one in typical Tarantino fashion, very violent, very bloody, very gory. I mean, comically so, where arms get cut off and blood spurting out like the Black Knight and Holy Grail, you know.
Just with a scratch.
So that worse. Just because I wish I had the skills to do that, to take out people.
So then wait.
At my whim.
If you're taking the price of the bride, wouldn't it then be called the groom?
No. I'd be that character. I'm just telling you which character I'd be. The one in the yellow jumpsuit. Okay.
Yes. Who was the bride, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
Right. So if you were to,
but I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change it to being a guy. I would be that character. You said if I could be a character,
you would be a chick.
That's the character. That's the whole question. What character would you be? Right?
Yeah.
You wanted to be an animated genie a while ago. I think it's okay for me to play a female character.
I said I wanted to be Aladdin in that situation.
Either way. So
anyway, yeah.
Okay. So that's all. That's all of mine. I mean, I've run out of ideas, but I will say, out of all, it's a lifelong dream of mine. All you know, I think out of all of them, what's on your head?
Wait, what?
What's on? Oh, you stuck something on your head. What'd you stick on your head?
Nothing. And it's a zit.
No, it looks like a really small penis.
It's an earplug, actually.
Okay, well,
it's a suction cup type.
Same thing. So anyway, that's all the ones that I've got. I will say that probably the very first one you said is probably the best one. I'm just gonna stop. Have you got another one, or do we want to go talk about the movie?
I do have another one, actually.
All right, this is the last one. All right,
yes.
go. This is the last one.
In Endgame, I want to be the part. I want to be part of the final big assault against Thanos. I want to be at the front of the line, and when Doctor Strange and the other wizards are frickin' making those portals, getting all their allies and everything. I want to be in that scene helping them fight.
Yeah. If I was in that scene, ain't but one guy I'd want to be. Captain America getting the hammer. Whoom! Yes, I'm worthy. That's just so
he was
cool.
Always worthy. He moved it in Ultron, remember?
Right, but he didn't pick it up, but he could move it. It made Thor a little nervous, if you remember. Yeah. But the fact that he caught it and all of a sudden the crowd just erupts, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, I think we pretty much exhausted that geek question. So
I'm sure I could come up with more, but yeah. I'm satisfied with my answer.
If you guys come up with any other ones, I'd love to hear them on the Discord chat or hit us up on Twitter or something, because it's a cool question, man. When they said it last night in H&H, I told them straight up, I'm stealing that question, guys. I'm absolutely stealing that question. What are you doing?
Guess.
Oh, God. I'm glad I'm here in Georgia and you're there in Ohio.
God.
Dude, when you used to sit right here next to me, I had to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that anymore. That's poor Nikki's job to deal with that. So, anyway. All right. So, I think we pretty much bled that question dry.
Yeah, we did.
And I think we hit a bunch of different.
It was a really fun one.
Yeah, and we hit a bunch of different kind of movies too. So anyway, all right. So we ready to talk about our movie?
Yep. Let's talk about
our movie.
Let's talk about our Discount Godzilla movie.
All right, Discount Godzilla. I don't know that I call it Discount Godzilla, but anyway, this is our roll for credit segment. I think. Yeah. I gotta pull up some stuff.
All right.
All right, so the movie we're going to watch, we talked about last time, and everybody thought it was a great idea to watch this movie because apparently everybody else had seen it except us. It's a 2008 found film kind of genre horror kind of movies. No, it wasn't really horror. Cloverfield.
Disaster movie, I would call
kinda.
it.
I mean, it stars people like Mike Vogel and Jessica Lucas, Lizzie Kaplan, T.J. Miller. T.J. Miller plays Deadpool's sidekick in... not the Indian guy, but his friend, in the Deadpool movies. And this was, golly, this is 12.
He also plays Tough Nut, and he also plays Tough Nut in How to Train Your Dragon.
I never knew. I mean, I didn't realize that this movie was 13 years old already. I mean, it was in 2008. I thought it was much more. You know what, Smashing? I kind of agree. I like the concept of found footage movies. I'm not a huge fan of them in action because I get the kind of disoriented kind of thing too, because I'm sitting still, but everything I'm watching is like this, and it's very disorienting. So I agree with you. Like I said,
a lot of action scenes in some action movies are kind of like that. It's going all over the place.
It's going up, but the camera's usually still and capturing motion. Okay, but the camera's not moving. Okay, it's very disorienting when it's the camera doing all the movement. Okay, so in theory, I love found footage type movies, but in practice, it's hard for me to watch too. So, so anyway, yeah. So the premise of this movie is that, you know, just normal people living their lives, and they're kind of doing their whole video in their lives, and starts with a couple that wake up with each other one morning, and they're going to go to Coney Island, and then flash forward a month, and that guy's leaving to go to Japan for some job, and there's some big surprise party for him, and he and that girl have apparently broken up, and then all of a sudden, stuff goes crazy. Okay, there's big explosions, and buildings are falling down, and they're freaking out, and
something rips the head off of the Statue of Liberty and chucks it halfway across Manhattan.
And HUD, who is T.J. Miller's character, he's the one that's tasked with filming everything. So he's filming this stuff the whole time, and so as he's filming the city and seeing stuff going down, every now and then, especially at the beginning, you get this flash of something moving. And I don't mean like something, you know, human-sized moving. I'm talking about something that's like 30 stories tall.
Godzilla size.
Moving. You don't see a flash of a tail or a piece of a leg. And so it slowly...
Giant arm.
It slowly pieces it together as you go through. And so it's basically like a Godzilla movie, like your traditional kind of Godzilla movie, except it's told from the point of view of people on the ground that are experiencing it as it's happening, not the general that's commanding the army kind of stuff. It's just regular people dealing with it, right? So
go Godzilla skis.
So that's the premise of the movie, and you know, the one guy and the girl, the guy that was leaving for Japan. The girl that he was with that month before, they never really got together, although he loved her, and she was with some other guy, came with some other guy to his party, then they left, and then all this stuff happened, and he gets a call from her saying that she can't move, that she's stuck in her apartment. And so he decides, bump all this, I'm going to go get her. It's straight towards the Godzilla thing, and the army's telling us to go the other way. The heck with it, I'm going there. And his friends go, okay, we'll go with you. You shouldn't, but we'll go with you. So that's the movie. Going across Manhattan to this girl's apartment to get her and save her and come back. Right?
And the group is dying left and right, you know. This monster is somehow excreting these little crab-like spider alien things that attack people. Hold on, one of the group dies to that, and it freaking explodes in a quarantine tent.
Yeah. What's her name? Marlena. Yeah, she didn't do so hot.
Marlena.
Yeah, she didn't do so hot. But yeah, so it starts out with how many is in the group? There's Jason, there's Lily,
Jason, Rob,
Marlena.
Lily, HUD, and Marlena. So that's about 5 people.
Yeah. So anyway, and they're going to get what's her name? What's her name?
Actually, it starts with them trying to get uptown out of Manhattan and going going over the Brooklyn Bridge,
and then and he gets that call from Beth, that's her name, saying hey, and so he starts to turn and go back the other way, and he's trying to gather all of his friends, and Jason's up on some light pole on the bridge
trying to get their attention,
and then what happens?
A big old monster tail breaks the bridge, and Jason literally gets crushed by the tail, just falls into the deep.
So there's the first guy that goes, right? That was Lily. That was Lily's fiance. That was Rob's brother. That was Lily's fiance. And then Marlena, as they're going through the train station, through the train tracks or tunnels, she gets attacked by one of them little monster things that it was, crab things that, and gets bit by one of them. Well, and then the army finds them, and they've got like a triage place, and they find out she's been bit, and they're trying to race her to quarantine. and you see her silhouette in behind like the white sheet quarantine
Yeah.
area, and all of a sudden you see hear an explosion. You see her body disappear and a splash of blood everywhere. So apparently she exploded. So she didn't do so hot, and then it goes from there, and then HUD ends up dying, and I mean
he gets eaten by the monster.
Yeah, and he's filming it as it happens. So at least he was dedicated to his craft.
Yeah,
he can do it for the vine, man. Do it for the vine.
The about 10 to 20 seconds of the scene of HUD basically looking up, staring at the monster as it's staring down at him. Its head flaps kind of flaring and rolling. The sacs on the back of its head puffing. It's that is the first time we would get a nice, good, clear look at the monster. And just. Honestly, I could feel the tension. I could honestly feel it.
And you knew it was coming. It wasn't like it was a surprise. You knew it was coming. So.
I know. And then seeing literally him getting picked up and eaten by this thing, bitten in half, and having basically his torso and up, and the camera fall to the ground. Just oh, Dad, real quick.
Yes. Is this a chicken?
No, it pertains to the movie.
Okay.
In the movie, this one of the soldiers mentioned the hammered down protocol. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that. No, don't ask me. That's not real. That's just something they made up for the movie.
Okay. I thought you may have known.
If it is real, I don't know about it. So there you go.
Which is weird because you know some pretty classified stuff.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I know anything classified. Thank you very much.
I know.
Because
execute order 66.
Because of things. I just it. So don't bring that up again. So there. It's a whole other level of things. We're not gonna go there. Order 66. So
execute order 66.
All right, and then. The Army guys tell them, okay, if you get back here by 0600 by 6 a.m., then we'll get you on a helicopter and get you.
You said that like Emperor Sean Connery. Clones, yes. There's an extra order 66. And
is that shaken or shaken? Is that shaken? I was about to say that shaken or stirred. So
execute order 66.
So they
that was better.
What ends up happening is try to save Beth, and they try to get back to the helicopters but to get back by 0600 so they can get on the helicopters and leave. And some of that happens. Let's just say it doesn't turn out well. So anyway, pretty much all of them die. And the only thing left is
the camera
and the film from the camera, and that's what you're watching the whole movie.
Which is weird because from what it looks like, basically all of Manhattan seems to get firebombed or something, and so how can a camera survive that, but a human body can't?
I have no idea.
That literally makes no sense.
Well, it's probably, it's one of those, logistical problems that you see in movies all the time, and people that like to pick them apart like to pick those things apart. I typically like to watch movies and not care about that stuff unless it's glaring and it affects the storyline. But anyway, look, it was good. I really enjoyed it, but I had some problems with it. But I don't want to jump into those until you have a chance to have your say. So what would you like to say about it?
All right. So the premise of the movie, I really liked it. I've always loved found footage movies because in those style of movies you get a different perspective than you usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And then also if it's a horror type movie, kind of like with this.
Mm-hmm.
See you, Hammer.
I'll see you, buddy.
In movies like this that are sort of horror like,
right,
you 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 don't get serious contact with the monster or the big bad, and that helps me because I have a very active imagination and get nightmares easily. I'm not afraid
Right.
to admit that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the kind of movie that's. I guess I consider horror movies that'll scare me. Right, and this didn't scare me because it's a monster movie. It's like a huge Godzilla, like Godzilla versus Kong that's coming out soon. I mean, that's not going to scare me. It's not. I wouldn't consider it a horror movie. It's kind of now.
I
Another
wouldn't even consider this a really a monster movie. The monster is just adding tension, but really it's a disaster movie.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point.
Godzilla is a monster movie because these people manage to interact directly with the monster. In this movie, they're just trying to escape and dodge and skirt around to go and save their friend, and the
Right,
monster is just adding extra tension and set dressing, basically.
right. So, I thought they did a pretty good job of the acting stuff. I thought they kind
Oh yeah,
of
they're really good with acting.
I thought they displayed the kind of the freak out mode that you would be in if this stuff was really happening. Um, I think that Jason that was going back for Beth.
That
I
was
mean,
Rob going back for Beth.
Rob. I think that's kind of unrealistic. I mean,
Exactly. Here's what I think about that.
All right, you go.
Okay, so one, so here are the facts. One, apparently Rob has been in love with Beth ever since college, and they've been friends ever since college or something.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they did in fact sleep together about a month prior to this happening.
Right.
Number three, so somewhere in this time period after, Rob got a big promotion to which would have him move to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and so because of this, there wouldn't really be a real need or possible way to pursue a brand new spur of the moment one night stand type of relationship from the beginning if he was going to be moving to Japan.
Yeah.
So he just kind of ghosted her. And then after all this disaster stuff is happening, and she calls him, and he's like, I gotta go save her. I'm like, dude, you do not have the obligation to save her, because you two ghosted each other. You're moving in literally the next day. You there is no reason for you to save a girl you slept with once, and to literally risk your life going up against a freaking god. I mean if she was his actual wife, I would understand, but at that point they weren't anything.
Now, I have several issues with what you just said. Okay, one, um, he loved her, right? It wasn't just a one night stand. They'd known each other since high school. Um, hold on,
but
hold
that's
on.
the first time they had.
I'm not done. I'm not. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
the first time they had sex, but that doesn't mean that it was a one night stand. It was clearly something very emotional for him. He still had feelings for her. She apparently had feelings for him. He probably did ghost her a little bit, and he kind of hinted at that because, like, I was leaving in a month to go to Japan, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to explore a relationship that I knew wasn't going to be able to continue, even though he cared for her. And him deciding to go save her when the whole everything hit the fan, it's because he let his emotions take over and he loved her. And at that point, he's wondering if the world is ending. There's huge monsters, 30-story monsters tearing up Manhattan. So as far as he was concerned, the world was coming to an end. So why not save her to be with her? And yeah, he was supposed to be moving to Japan the next day. I'm guessing he wasn't moving to Japan the next day after everything that was going on. So, so he had, I mean, even though I probably wouldn't have, well, I can't say I wouldn't have done it. If it'd been your mom, I would have done the same thing. So,
But what if, okay? What if if you were in his shoes, and at this point in time, mom was just a friend who you had and an emotional hookup one time and then ghosted. Would you still go and save her?
You do remember the story that I've told you that within 2 weeks of your mom and I going out, and after she broke up with her boyfriend, within 2 weeks of that happening, we knew that we were going to get married. We didn't get married for 3 years. We dated for a year and a half, and then we were engaged for a year and a half. But we knew within 2 weeks. So yeah, that attraction that can happen that fast. So yes, that could happen. Just saying. So anyway, but here's my issues. One is, and Smashy alluded to it a lot, that found footage thing. It's cool, but I personally, even though I think it's a great way to tell a story, it's a really intriguing way to tell a story, I have a hard time watching it because I just get disoriented. Okay, if I'm sitting in my house and I'm watching on my new TV, this big action scene with all kinds of shaking going on, but the camera's not moving, it's just the action is moving, I'm fine with that because I've got a sense of stability and a foundation. But when the camera's what's doing all this stuff and I'm sitting still, it's disorienting to my equilibrium, and so I have a hard time with that. So that became disturbing for me in parts because it got to be too much. And then the other part, and I'm just wondering, because I had the thoughts as I'm watching this movie 20 years after 9/11. And this thing only came out 7 years after 9/11. And you're watching a movie, and yes, it's a Godzilla monster thing, right?
Yeah.
But you're watching Manhattan be destroyed, and you're watching buildings fall to the ground, and chaos happening, and people running in the streets in downtown New York. You're seeing a building collapse, and this huge cloud of smoke, from all the dust and debris from the building,
and
waft down the street, and just completely engulf everybody. And people are running in buildings and closing the doors to keep from suffocating from all of that. Right? That's exactly what it looked like when the Twin Towers went down. If you've watched documentaries of it and you've seen found footage of 9/11, of that day, you've seen people filming it and seeing the building collapse and seeing that huge cloud of smoke and then running into a building and closing the door and seeing the wave of debris and smoke come down the road. That was 20 years later, having lived that day, having watched that day happen when it happened, because I'm old enough to remember it very vividly because we were living in North Dakota. That was still hard for me. That still aroused some uncomfortable feelings for me. I can't imagine watching it 7 years after that fact. So I'm not going to use
it might have been too soon at the time.
I don't know. It would have been for me. I mean, and I'm not going to use the word triggered because I don't like that word. I think that's overused word, and I think it's a cop out to use triggered. But it aroused some emotions in me that were uncomfortable, because it harkened back to that day. So I didn't like that. That was a little too close to home for me, even though it's been 20 years. Yeah. Because I left work, we watched what was happening at the hospital, and then I left work to come home and sat on the floor with your mom holding you, or one of us was holding you and one was holding Luke, because Luke was brand new. Right? And just sitting there going, okay, are we at war? Is the world ending? What's going on? It was pretty traumatic, man. So that was a little iffy for me. But it was a good movie. I've heard that the movies that have followed it, that are kind of in that universe, are not as good. Cloverfield, Paradox, and then there's another one. I can't remember what it is. I'm sure if Mitch is still here, I'm sure he'll remember what it is. But anyway, so
it's it stars the same guy who played Sully in Monsters Inc. I know.
Oh, that right, and yeah, John Goodman.
Yeah,
right.
That guy.
Yeah, I know that. I just can't think of the name of the movie. But anyway, so it was a good movie. I like monster movies. I would love to go see Godzilla versus Kong in the theater because that's a movie that you'd like to see in the theater. It's just not really easily an opportunity to do that in the COVID era right now. But so I like those movies. I like Kong, King of Monsters, all those kind of things. But and I like the fact that you didn't really see him much until the end.
I love Cinema Sin Smashy. I love that dude.
They just kind of hinted at it through most of the movie. Now, something else I will say is that helicopter pilot was an idiot. Okay, when they got on the helicopter and they're flying away, and it's HUD and Rob and Beth, and HUD's filming, and they're above the monster, and the missiles come in to try to blow up the monster, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The helicopter pilot's job was to evacuate citizens from Manhattan. His job was not to circle the monster so you could get a good view. Okay? Had he done his job, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So that was stupid. Okay, that was unrealistic because a helicopter pilot would not have just said, hey, we're just going to circle the monster when I've been given orders to evacuate. I'm going to fly away from the monster, not circle it. So that just was, to me, was stupid. And I'm like, okay, when they started doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's coming. All right. I'm going to have all this dust, and you think the monster's dead, and then all of a sudden he's going to jump up and swat the helicopter, and they're going to crash. And 2 seconds later, boom, it happened. So I thought that was stupid. It was just kind of idiotic to me. It would have made more sense had they been trying to get off the ground, and it swatted them before they were able to do that. But they were fully capable of getting away. They were above the skyscrapers, and he could have easily just hit a trajectory 180 degrees in the opposite direction, but he chose not to. So that was just stupid to me. So
yeah,
other than that, but it was a cool movie. I'm glad I've seen it because it's one of those movies that I've always said I need to watch because people have said it's really cool. But anyway, so any other thoughts that you've got about that movie?
Nope, not really.
Okay, I guess we're done talking about Cloverfield then. So that means it's time to pick our next one. All right.
Yeah.
So I get to roll dice. Yay! I like rolling dice.
Big Papa.
All right, let me find my stuff here.
All
my category list.
Stuff.
All my category list. Okay. All right. So I like rolling all my dice, even though I don't need all of them, just because I like the way it sounds. So I rolled a 15, which is Netflix.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to roll all my dice again because I like the way those metal dice sound. Even though I only needed 6
barely roll.
And I rolled a 4. Yeah, 4, which is classics. So we're going to get to watch a classic on Netflix. This should be interesting. Right. And let's see. And I rolled a 1. I rolled a 00 and a 1. That's cool. So I'm going to go look at the very first movie on the classics list on Netflix, and we're going to say we're going to review next time. So y'all just hang tight.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
Hold on one sec. Click.
Okay. It's the very first movie.
I know. I was having trouble getting to the classic section. Sweet. Okay.
What is it?
One of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's one of my favorite movies. It's from. Let me look it up here. I'm gonna look it up on IMDb. Give you a little bit of. It's from 1967. Okay. Stars Paul Newman, George Kennedy, and it is Cool Hand Luke. Oh man, it's such a good movie.
I've never heard of it.
You should not be called my son. I'm just kidding. But, yes, you should definitely. You're gonna love this movie. Okay, it's a good movie. Anyway, a laid-back Southern man is sentenced to 2 years in a rural prison, but he refuses to conform. So,
he gets part of a chain gang and they escape.
Paul Newman is Cool Hand Luke. And he's in prison, and it's a southern rural prison, so the guards aren't the nicest people, and he refuses to follow their rules or obey, but he's just cool and laid back, and he's always getting in trouble, and he's always getting thrown in the box. And anyway, it's just a fantastic movie. I mean, it's a classic. That's why it's in the classic section. So you'll love it. I promise you, you'll love it. So that's what we're going to watch next time. For next time is Cool Hand Luke, starring Paul Newman, George Kennedy, and some other people. I can't remember who else. Is it Truman? No. Who's the? Hold on, I want to look it up because I'm drawing a blank here.
Truman Capote?
No, it's not Truman Capote. What's the guy's name?
Nissan Dykeman?
No, Strother Martin plays the captain of the jail. So anyway, what we have here is a failure to communicate. That's where that line comes from. So you've heard me say that before.
Yes.
So anyway, so for next time we're going to watch Cool Hand Luke. We're going to come up with another geek question. Maybe I'll steal it from Horseshoes and Hand Grenades again if they come up with another good one. That was awesome. Loved that question. I might outsource the geek question development to them. And we'll kind of go from there. But
you already outsourced it to me.
Anyway, I thought you outsourced it back to me because you wanted to outsource the movies. You keep switching what your role.
No.
You keep switching what your job is. So anyway, I can't keep up. I just show up and hit record. So anyway, and I completely forgot to record this episode. So I'm gonna have to pull it off.
Dang it, Dad!
I'm gonna because I used to do it directly in OBS, but now I do it separately in Audacity because it takes a little bit less resources to do it that way. So it's super easy. I'll just download it off of Twitch, the video, and then I'll import it. It'll be fine. So there. Yes, do that. So anyway, we're gonna go because I want to go play some Xbox. Give me something else to drink. You're welcome to join me if you want to, but if not, go have fun in Akron tomorrow. And thanks everybody for stopping by, for Smashy and for Hammer and for Bones. You deserve a Purple Heart for doing it with the COVID vaccine aftermath with the fever and stuff, man. That was cool, man. I appreciate you showing up and stopping by. So we're done. We've run out of things to talk about. I think all the chickens are dead. So I'll buy some more for next week. We'll have more for next week. So y'all have fun. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time. And until next time,
stay nerdy, my friends.
bye, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.